You know that feeling when something's off but you can't name it? They say they love you. They show up sometimes. They make promises. But deep down, you feel alone even when you're together. Here's what nobody tells you. Some people are performing love, not feeling it. And the performance can last years, decades even. But it's not real. And on some level, you already know that. Let me show you the 5 types. And warning, one of these might describe someone in your life right now. If it does, don't ignore this. Because every month you stay is another month you lose that you'll never get back. The first type is the emotional vampire. Here's how you recognize them. Every conversation becomes about their problems, their pain, their drama. When you try to share your struggles, they turn it back to themselves within 2 minutes. Oh, you had a hard day? Well, let me tell you about my hard week. You're excited about something. They find a way to downplay it or redirect attention. And here's the key pattern. They need you when they're struggling. But when you need them, they're suddenly busy. Research on narcissistic personality patterns shows this isn't accidental. These people see relationships as fuel. They don't love you. They love how you make them feel. And the moment you stop providing that feeling, you're disposable. I watched this happen to my friend Sarah. 3 years with someone who called her every time he was upset, needed her advice, needed her support. But when her mom got sick and she needed him, he said he couldn't handle heavy emotions right now. That's not love. That's extraction. Here's the test. Next time they're doing well, notice how much they engage with you. If they only show up when they need something, that's not love. That's convenience. And love shouldn't feel like a one-way emergency hotline. The second type is the future faker. They're incredible at painting pictures of the future. The trips you'll take, the life you'll build, the person they're becoming. They'll talk about marriage, kids, dreams, everything. But here's the pattern. The future never comes. It's always just out of reach. Next year. After this job. After this job. Once they figure themselves out, and you wait, because the vision they sold you feels so real. Psychology calls this intermittent reinforcement. They give you just enough hope to keep you hooked. But they never follow through. Because following through would require real commitment. And they're not capable of that. They're only capable of the performance. I knew someone who was engaged for 4 years. 4 years. Every time she brought up setting a date, he had a reason to wait. More savings, better timing, less stress at work. She finally realized he didn't want to marry her. He wanted the image of being engaged, the story, the attention, not the reality. Here's how you spot this. Look at their actions, not their words. Have they actually moved toward the future they describe? Or are you still waiting for them to start? Because people who truly love you don't make you wait for proof. They show up. They follow through. They turn words into action. If it's been more than a year and you're still hearing about the future instead of living it, that's your answer. The third type is the avoider roar. They're there but not really. Physically present but emotionally distant. You try to have deep conversations, they deflect. You try to connect, they retreat. They'll give you surface-level affection. Hold your hand. Say nice things. But when you try to go deeper, they shut down. And they make you feel needy for wanting more. Studies on avoidant attachment styles show these people learned early that emotions are dangerous. So they keep everyone at arm's length. Even people they claim to love. They'll never let you all the way in. Because being fully known feels like being fully trapped. And here's the cruel part. The more you chase closeness, the more they pull away. It becomes a loop. You feel neglected. You ask for more. They feel suffocated. They pull back. You feel more neglected. And the cycle never ends. I watched this destroy someone I cared about. She spent 5 years trying to get a partner to open up, to share feelings, to be vulnerable. He'd occasionally give her a moment of closeness, just enough to make her think progress was happening. Then he'd disappear emotionally for weeks. She thought love meant persistence. It doesn't. You can't love someone into emotional availability. They either have it, or they don't. And if they don't, you'll spend your entire relationship feeling lonely. Here's the brutal truth. If someone makes you feel needy for wanting basic emotional connection, they're not capable of real intimacy. And without intimacy, you don't have love, you have companionship. That's not the same thing. The fourth type is the scorekeeper. Every kind thing they do gets remembered and brought up later. Every mistake you make gets stored in their mental file and used against you during arguments. They don't give freely. They give transactionally. I did this for you, so you owe me. I forgave you for that, so you can't complain about this. And nothing is ever settled. Every resolved conflict gets resurrected when convenient. Research on relationship equity theory explains this. Healthy relationships operate on generalized reciprocity. I help you today, you help me tomorrow. Neither of us keeps score. But toxic relationships operate on balanced reciprocity. Every action demands immediate equal return, and the scorekeeper is always calculating. I'm the first giving more than I'm getting, because to them, love is a ledger, and they're making sure they never lose. Here's how this shows up. You forget one anniversary, they bring it up for years. They help you move. They remind you about it every time you disagree. They apologize for something, but then use the fact that they apologized as proof you should forgive them for the next thing. It's exhausting, because love isn't supposed to be an accounting system. It's supposed to be generous, freely given, not traded. If you're with someone who constantly reminds you of what they've done for you, that's not love, that's leverage. And they're keeping score because they plan to use it against you when it matters. Real love doesn't keep receipts. The fifth type is the projector. They accuse you of the exact things they're doing. You're distant, you're shady, you're not committed, and you defend yourself confused because you're not doing any of those things, but they are. Psychological projection is a defense mechanism. They can't face their own flaws, so they place them on you, and then they attack you for it. It's brilliant, really. Because while you're defending yourself against false accusations, they're getting away with the real betrayal. I've seen this pattern countless times. Someone cheats, then becomes obsessed with whether their partner is cheating. Someone lies constantly, then doesn't trust anything their partner says. Someone emotionally checks out, then accuses their partner of being distant. And the person being accused spends all their energy proving their innocence instead of realizing they're being manipulated. Here's the test. When they accuse you of something, stop defending and start asking, why do you think I'm doing that? What makes you believe that? And watch how they react. If they can't give concrete examples and instead just repeat the accusation, they're projecting. And that means they're doing the thing they're accusing you of. Guaranteed. Now, here's where this gets hard. If you recognize someone in this list, you have a choice. You can stay and hope they change. Or you can accept that some people are not capable of real love. Not because they're evil. Because they're broken in ways they refuse to fix. And you can't love someone into wholeness. They have to choose that for themselves. Here's what I need you to understand. Staying with someone who can't truly love you isn't noble. It's self-abandonment. You're choosing their potential over your reality. And every day you stay is a day you're not available for someone who can actually love you the way you deserve. Better single than stuck. Better alone than with someone who makes you feel alone. So here's my question for you. Which of these 5 types have you encountered? Drop a comment. Not to shame anyone, but to recognize the pattern. Because recognition is the first step to freedom. And if you recognize yourself in one of these types, that's even more important. The question isn't whether you've done these things. The question is, what are you going to do about it? Because the person brave enough to look in the mirror and say, I need to fix this, is exactly the kind of person who deserves real love. Subscribe for more content that tells you the truth about relationships instead of selling you fairy tales. And remember, real love doesn't require you to guess. It shows up, consistently, honestly, without games. If you have to constantly question whether someone loves you, that's your answer. They don't. Not in the way you need. And you deserve better than that.